So Tricord actually started in 2020, literally right before the whole world got shut down with the pandemic. So actually, Tricord was a rebranding from a previous band that I was named. I was in a band called Forever and Majesty. Forever and Majesty was coming to its close. We met our producer who produced the Into the Storm EP for us. And we got a manager at the time, and the manager suggested that we just do a full rebranding of the name. And so tricord comes from Ecclesiastes 4:12. One can be defeated, two can withstand, but a triple braided cord can't easily be broken. So tricord was birthed from that, and we've been going hard in the paint since 2020, man.
Oh wow. Okay, that's awesome. So for you guys, I mean, I've had you guys on Spotify today, just kind of trying to soak it up and find out what what it's all about, and it's quite good. It feels to me very much like you've been spending quite a bit of these last couple of years kind of finding your own sound, finding what works for you. Because I've seen like elements of just contemporary Christian worship music, straight stuff that I would expect to see on a stage in church. But then I've also seen like there's a song that I want to say "Born to Be a King" was like got a real proper straight country vibe, but with rap in it. So it just kind of feels like
Yeah.
is my impression right? How have you been going with that?
Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's exactly the our EP was a mix of it was a smorgasbord of so to speak of different genres, man, and us just kind of trying to find our sweet spot. I think the two singles we've released this year, "Fix Me" and "What You Got," I think that is the defining sound right now of Tricord. Obviously, as any artist that does what we do and are trying to like are still young per se, uh, we still are trying to find the balance in our sound and find the perfect like when you hear the song, without a shadow of a doubt it's Tricord kind of type sound. You find that real uniqueness.
Yeah, I mean, what you got when I heard that one for the first time, I was just like, I was so hyped. I was like, yeah, more of this, please. I really like that because I I'm only a fraction of a few years older than you. I'm guessing I'm probably double your age if I'm honest. But I grew up in the original new metal era. Like, I was like 1990s, early 2000s new metal. And when I heard What You Got, I was like, yeah, I like this. This is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I was
That's the direction, man.
I was really hoping you was going to say that, dude. Like, it's like this is the
Yeah.
direction we want to go. Because the other stuff, whilst it's like I'll be perfectly honest. It's good. It's perfectly good, like Christian rock music. I thought What You Got was very much more of a. It was like a more of a unique sound. It's more
Mhm.
different. I think some of the other songs that I heard on Spotify tended to be like, well, I'm not quite sure which band, but it reminds me of somebody. But What You Got was definitely quite aggressive, and I liked the aggression, but without going over into like a lot of rap like in the mainstream has like a lot of swearing and a lot of kind of bad like
Yeah.
messages. But this is really good messages. So maybe tell me a little bit about your writing process and how you actually get those lyrics. I'm assuming you write the lyrics, by the way, being the singer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the lyricist of the band. I kind of write the lyrics and kind of like arrange the songs and stuff like that. My guys are phenomenal at writing the music
Yeah.
that we're producing. But yeah, man, like real quick, that's new metal rapcore is exactly where we're going. Every since What You Got has dropped, everybody said that's Tricord. That is who Tricord is. That's where Tricord needs to stay. That is your sweet spot. Stay in that lane. So, but yeah, the writing process. So our guitarist Charles has been with. We have another guitarist as well, Seth. But Charles has been with me since the beginning of Tricord. Actually, he's the only member from the original five left with me. And
Okay.
so Charles is a squirrel guy. And he's the chase the squirrel guy. and he'll start doodling and coming up with these crazy riffs. And I'm like, ooh, what you doing there? And then that's how Fix Me and What You Got both started in the same exact practice the same way. With What You Got, he was just noodling around and just doing this little. I was like, yo, dude, where's that? He was like, I don't know, I'm just noodling around, man. And I was like, keep playing it. And then I got the bass, and then we just went to town on it, man. It was so fun. And literally that one practice, I sat there, wrote the rap and everything, man, and just was like, all right, I got lyrics for this. It's fire. And we went to town with it, dude. It was pretty dope, for real. But that's usually our writing process is Carl's having a squirrel moment at practice, and it goes from there.
I love it. That's just so good. I mean, when I'm writing music in my band, my guitarist, he's the guy who's the riff machine. He's just like you stick a penny in him and a riff comes out. It's just absolutely crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the way that I don't know how he does it, but like the thing is, like he listens to such a big scope of music. It's just like, mate, we want like as brutal as you can possibly get. And he's like, well, I need something to inspire me. Give me some lyrics. I'm like, I can't write lyrics until I've got something to write them to. It's really how do you actually get from like the guitarist is just like squirrel and he's got off onto that and then written a riff. How do you get from that to like an actual serviceable piece of music? What's your process for that? Hard.
Well, honestly, man, I can write lyrics with or without music. I was my whole entire life. My mom was really good at poetry and spoken words, and
Mm.
that's a gift that got passed on to me. So I've always been really good with just sitting down and being able to compel words in such a unique way that are that's just cool. I've always been able to write spoken words and poetry and stuff, man. It's who I am. I'm a passionate person, so it just kind of comes out of me, man. And I'm really, I mean, I'm sure you could tell I'm pretty eloquent with the way I speak and all and stuff like that. So like words, it's just a natural thing for me, I guess.
Hey, this interview was recorded for the UCB1 Rock Show, the only place on national radio in the UK currently playing Christian hard rock and heavy metal. If you want to tune in, even if you're outside of the UK, why don't you go check out the information in the first pinned comment and the description below. Okay, let's get back to the interview.
Okay, cool. I mean, I noticed on The Precipice, that was like a complete spoken word piece, wasn't it? That was a really unique idea, wasn't it? What can you tell us about that one? Because that was quite a passionate piece of content, really, there, wasn't it?
Okay, so the Precipice, the reason why it plays right before Into the Storm on the EP is because Into the Storm and the Precipice kind of birthed from a series of dreams that I was having. And in these dreams, it's pretty crazy. In these dreams, I was with a group of people, and then it's gonna sound super funny the way I described it, but it's the only way I can think to describe it. It's almost like a zombie apocalypse cover because the people started changing and people started leaving me and changing and betraying me until literally nobody that I knew and loved that and stuff like that in the dream was normal. I was like the last person like within my mind and stuff. And so I was running through these woods and I came up to this cliff, this precipice, and the cliff broke off into like 7 different pieces. And then I like would fight some of them. Then when I got tired, I would jump to the next platform and do it again. So I got to the very, very last platform. And so I had a decision to make. Either I jumped into this raging, crazy looking stormy sea, and possibly survive or drown, or I just let them overtake me. So I jump off into the precipice, into the storm, into the sea. And as I'm in the water fighting for my life in the water in the dream, I see these feet coming towards me. And then every time I would come up for air or whatever and get knocked back under by the waves. And then the last time I got knocked under, I couldn't get back up, but then the arm reached down and pulled me out of the water. And I wake up from it. So
okay. I mean, I'm not I'm not much for like, I mean, I kind of think a lot of that whole dream interpretation stuff is like, I'm not very good at doing that, and often it is a bit woolly. But it sounds like you had quite a like that sounds like quite a spiritual dream, maybe.
Oh
Where,
yeah, oh yeah.
and I think if I was to guess what the metaphor there of who was pulling you out of the storm, I mean, it's obviously going to be to do with the kind of Christian world, and I guess that's going to be a nice way to kind of segue because a lot of your lyrics are very very um, biblically based, aren't they? You do incorporate a
Yeah.
lot of scripture in that. Is that deliberate that you do that? And what part does the faith play in the music that you write?
All right, so faith plays a huge part in the lyrics that we write. We like to say that, especially with the new season and the new shift in genres and stuff like that. The best way I can describe it, we're trying to come out of this, and I know I'm going to catch some hate for the way I'm going to word this, but we're trying to come out of this idea of this youth sounding like a youth band, rock band, into
Right.
sounding like a heavier, like, hey, we get it. We know what the heck it feels like to go through life, man. We know what it's like to go through depression. We know what it's like to go through anxiety. We know what it's like to have real life issues, to have miscarriages and to know friends and people who have gone through divorces and all this awful, god awful stuff in life. And so we want to write music that's just really relevant now. And and tell our stories through music and even tell other people's story through music as well. Um, just like our song Untitled. Our song Untitled actually it's a combination of all of our testimonies plus the testimonies of other people that we know and stuff. So I would say yes, our music is hugely faith based, but there's a lot of relevance to our music.
Yeah. So do you find that being younger and having maybe less life experience than some of the older bands that kind of getting that message across is can be a bit harder for you guys, or how are you trying to go down that road authentically?
I would say no, actually. No, I don't feel like it's that challenging. We're very, very outspoken about our faith. We're very, very outspoken about what we believe in and what we stand on. Especially me. Like I'm the kind of person who I guess I've been like an advocate my whole life. Like whatever I believe in, I stand 10 toes deep in it. I've
Yeah.
always been like that. Which is funny because like by nature, I'm a pretty passive person. But when it comes to stuff, if people I care about and love or things that I truly believe in, I'm going to defend and stand for it. Uh, I guess for a lack of better expression, I've never been a fan of the bully. I've always stood up against the bully type deal. So I would say to answer your question, no, we stand 10 toes deep in what we believe, man. We're not afraid, no matter where we are or the type of venue we are. We're not afraid to talk about our faith. We're not afraid to. I always give my testimony of my suicide attempt when I was in college, and from the stage, and I tell people straight up, no matter where I'm at, like if it wasn't for Jesus, I would have killed myself, and how feeling God's peace for the first and love for the first time like that in my life changed my life. So
Okay.
I'm not a.
I'm gonna have to put the. I need to know more about that, man. So was this like you was before? Sorry, before you was like in the faith, or was this like you was actually? Was it like that's how you came to faith? Or that sounds like a big moment. Can you just like flesh that out a bit more? Can you just tell me a bit more
All
about
right,
it?
cool. So I didn't grow up in a Christian home,
Okay.
but my mom was really strict and made sure we at least went to church and had very strong morals in my home. So I went to church and stuff like that. When I was like 17, junior in high school, I started venturing out, visiting other churches other than the church I was going to, just kind of see how things were and stuff. Probably my freshman year in college, I really started venturing into this. Like, I started writing a book, a comic, a book, or whatever you want to call it. And I wanted the book to have all kinds of different imagery in it. So I started studying like different types of religion and all. And somehow or another, every time almost I always got led back to Jesus. So comes my second year in college, I had made some really poor choices. Those choices were about to greatly, greatly, greatly alter my life altogether. And I was battling depression like nobody's business. I hated the sight of who I was. I self-harmed. If you could think of it, man, I was addicted to pornography. I grew up fatherless. All the weight of all this stuff in my life just started crashing on me my second year in college, and it was just too much to bear, man. And I thought that the only way to be free from this was to take my life. So I'm trying to get there. We go. So this tattoo right here, I'm going to explain this tattoo right here as part of the story. I cut the word love in my arm. Through that word. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I got a phone call. I don't know what that was about. And I cut through that word love. Thought I had my phone on silent too. I cut through that word love numerous times. And my idea was whoever would find my body would see that the only thing I long for is to be loved and to feel as loved as I loved others and appreciated as I felt others. And it was the lack of love that drove me to the spot. It was such a weird mindset to have. Before I was about to officially just like kind of end it all, swallow pills, whatever I was about to do at that point, I just said, I didn't have a fancy prayer or anything like that, but I was like, yo, God, I need help. Help me. I was like, I don't know what to do, but I give this whole entire situation up to you because I don't know what else to do. I don't know who else to turn to. And for the first time in my life, I felt a love and a peace in my life that I had never felt before. And it changed my life forever, man. And so the tattoo right here, man, is ahava. It's Hebrew for love. And it's Hebrew for God's unadulterated love. Like, God loves us no matter how far we think we've ran away, how many awful things we thought we have done, and no matter how far we think we can't be cleaned up or that he would never take us back. He does, man. The living example and proof of that love happening. Because I did some awful, man, when I tell you, I was about to do like some hardcore prison time type stuff. And and God just rescued me. He didn't rescue me because I was scared to go to prison. I fully accepted it. I was like, man, I deserve to go for what I did, man. And all this crazy crap I got going on. I deserve to die, in fact. I don't deserve the breath that I'm living and stuff. I'm filthy and foolish and so immature and idiotic. And that was all coming out because I hated myself so much, man. I cut myself because I hated myself. I could not stand the sight of me. And it caused me to do so many dumb things and just for attention and all kinds of stuff, man. And God just really rescued me from all that, man. He really, Jesus really did change my life forever, bro.
Hey, real quick, if you're having a good time today, please remember to hit that thumbs up button and leave us a comment below. It really helps this to get shared out to more people. And if you really want to help do that, why don't you share this video with a friend or drop it in a social media group of choice. Okay, let's get back to the interview.
Man, that is so like that is the story of the prodigal son, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That is it's like, you know, you find yourself in a situation where, you know, you're just kind of living, you're running away, you're doing like partying. I mean, this is my story as well. I was out like in college partying, you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, the whole shooting match. I don't really know exactly the things, and it doesn't matter. It's just like doing things which wasn't honoring to God, and you know. kind of going down that path, and then all of a sudden you reach the end and you're just like, this is just not working. But the thing is, you kind of realized that that isn't working. You realize that that situation is, you don't, there's no more pretense, is there? There's no more, oh, I've got this. It's like, that's you broken. And I think God uses us in that broken place, and he can then go, right, okay, so as long as you've turned from that to me, like the repentance side of it, then he can go and take and do something wonderful with you. So it's like you've come home, haven't you? And he's just like, he's not just sat there like watching you from a long way away. He just ran to, he's just like, right, Maine, that's all I needed. I just needed you to realize that you need me. And then you've got that confirmation that you need. I'm just like going, yes, mate, that is awesome.
Yeah, man. That's just it, man. I can honestly say, man, I do not regret my decision of following Christ ever, man. Like, of course, the enemy will try to make you feel differently about it from time to time.
You'll have bad days. You'll have slip-ups and whatever, but he's gracious, Oh, dude. And then so obviously when you're in your band now, you're just like spreading that message to other people and paying it forwards, I guess.
Yeah, man, definitely, dude. And it, believe it or not, man, it doesn't matter where we go, man. Like people receive it. Like it's crazy, man. Because like I never assumed just because I'm in a Christian venue, even that everybody's got it together. You wouldn't believe how many people come to us and are like, you know what, man, your story just really saved my life in ways you don't understand. I was wanting to kill myself, or I've been dealing with self-harm, or I hate myself and I don't know how to love myself, or and this, that, and the third. People love relevance. They love feeling like they're not alone when they feel alone. And so people just get that hope to know that they're not alone, and they're not the only one who struggles with that, or has struggled with it, and that they see some guy on the stage who made it through that, and it gives them hope that they can make it through it too.
And when we're in the Christian world, man, like you're right, everybody just seems to, I don't know why, the Bible, if you read your Bible, it's just like, y'all sinners, your best deeds are filthy rags, just, but yeah, we would still try and pretend like we've got everything in order and we know what we're doing. We're saved by grace, not because we've earned it, it's like,
yeah,
crazy.
I think there's just this mindset for whatever reason with believers to think that we have to live and, well, not even live, look so perfect to people. And it's so false, because like I said, going back to just everything about our music and even my story, it's relevance. Relevance helps people knowing that, because people are scared to turn to God or to turn to people who follow him, because they feel like these people are perfect, they're all got it all together, or they have to clean themselves up in order to even come here. And that's not true. We can't clean ourselves up ourselves. No. We can't do it. I knew I couldn't do it myself. I love myself now, and you can't tell me a doggone thing about myself now. But several years ago, 14, 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the story. I'm not where I am today because of me. I am where I am today because he changed me.
And that's really important, actually. That's super important, because sometimes I hear it in in Christian circles where people are just like, hey, come as you are, come as you are. And that is true. God does accept you as you are, and he loves you so much that he will accept you as you are, but he also loves you so much that he won't leave you as you are. He will change you. He will, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think if we can't forget that side of the equation too. I am 100% different. I mean, I gave my life to the Lord 7 years ago, and I am diametrically opposed. It's completely different to what I was like 7 years ago. It starts to work, but you don't have to get to the finish line before you have to even start. Just come with your filth and your rags and your mistakes and all of that stuff, and just say, Lord, I can't do it on my own. I need you. Take me from here, and he will just take you along as long as you allow him to.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what surrender is, man.
Oh yeah. There's a title of a song right there. You should write it. Awesome. Okay. Right, we're nearly out of time. So, Maine Nixon from Tricord, dude, it's been so awesome sitting down and talking to you today. Thank
Yeah,
you so
man.
much, man.
Yeah, man, it's an honor, Chris, dude. Thank you for inviting me on the show, bro. It's really cool to think that our music's made it to the UK now. That's wild to me.
What a fantastic conversation with Maine Nixon from Tricord. If you want to keep up to date with all of their new releases and watch as their sound does develop into that more nu metal sound, fantastic. Get yourself down to the description. I'll have listed all of their socials there. If you've had a good time today, please remember, hit that subscribe button and come back next week when we're going to be talking to Matt and Dylan from Meet Your Maker. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.